Hello there, Fur and the Fan friends, and welcome to this week's episode where we are covering part 2 of our upholstery project for this little camper. Today we are going to be showing you how we're going to upholster the back of the shed and the main mattress of the shed. So with all that in mind, let's put our little walking feet on our little sewing machine and let's get to sewing. Wait, we can't sew yet. Believe it or not, we've had a few issues that we've had to work through, but I think we have the solution for them. So let's get going and I'll show you how we started building the new cushions. Fur, oh Fur, where are you? Here I am. Looking through the windows, well, the one window of the camper. Anyway, just being silly here, but I think this is probably the best way I can show you how we're gonna lay out the back of our shed and the main mattress in our shed. So as you can see here, I've taken paper and I taped it all together. And I formed it in the shape of how the back of the shed is going to be. And I formed the shape of the bottom of the shed. And that gives us two things. First thing it does is it allows us to take this over to our hard table and we're able to trace out the pattern of our upholstery. And so that's one. The second thing, you probably can't see it on video, but I've got numbers and a little grid system worked out on here. And what that grid system is we're going to be doing an upholstery application, I guess that's what it's called Button Tough. Now, it's not a heavy duty Button Tough, but it's going to have, well, little buttons and little tufts throughout the whole bottom and the back. Now, the reason we're doing Button Tough is because with a piece of foam and material this big, I think and I like the idea of having the buttons kind of hold everything together. If you have just one big piece of upholstery, it tends to, it has wrinkles and sags and lumps and all that stuff in it. So with Button Tough, not only does it look good and it holds everything in place, but it also makes it manly tough. Now, one of the challenges that came up on this particular build is, it's a one-off. I mean, nobody's ever built the shed, including me. So I'm trying to figure this out as I go. So as I was thinking in my mind how I was going to build this back piece of the shed, I thought, well, I think instead of adding another piece of plywood, which again would have been easier, I said it's still going to need a frame of some sort. So what I did was I went ahead and I did one of my favorite things to do, and I made a glue laminated frame. That's pretty cool. It looks like the shape of it, and I thought it would work really well. And now that I've built it, I think I've talked myself out of it. The idea was going to be to have the foam on here and then just wrap the upholstery around the edge and staple it to the back. And then that would give us our frame that we need to kind of support everything. After I built this, I decided that no, I think the foam itself, it's 2 inches thick. And so being such a dense, heavy foam, I think it'll actually stand up on its own without having to have a wood frame. So yeah, I took a little bit of time and made a new glue lamp frame for basically nothing. But that's one thing we do. We just work it out and figure out, and hopefully it'll turn out in the end. So let's go back into the next room and I'll show you the foam. So here is our 2-inch piece of foam that we're going to be using on the back of the shed. What I did was I went ahead and I took that piece of paper that I showed you that I had taped to the wall. I went ahead and I laid that on our foam, and I drew a line that represented that piece of paper shape, right? And then I went ahead and I used this hacksaw blade. Now, when you cut foam, you're supposed to use an electric knife, or even better yet, a foam cutting knife, which keeps it nice and perpendicular, which keeps it nice and perpendicular, so that it saws along the shape and it all comes out real well. Now let's take a look. And I think the solution that we're going to use to hold it up on the wall is, in the upholstery, we're going to go ahead and sew in some snaps. And so it'll snap 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 different places along the wall. And I don't think that's going to go anywhere. So we don't need that special glue laminated frame or anything else. We'll just snap it to the wall. So now that we have the shape for the back of our shed all cut out, let's go ahead and, oh, I can't. I don't have the other foam. Well, since we don't have the foam, why don't we go ahead to our next step of the back of our shed and cut out the actual upholstery that we're going to be using. So as you can see here, we have the upholstery for our shed. We have the patterns for the back of the shed and our pattern for the bed of the shed. And as you can see, it's a lovely, I think they call this a cranberry color. I think it'll look very nice and very complimentary to the toast colored upholstery that we just got done sewing up for our little cushions on the front and the back. Actually, it'd be the side and the side that fits in our little bunky nooks. Now what we need to do is we need to take this material upstairs to where we can go ahead and iron out all of these wrinkles, so that when we attach our patterns to our material here, it'll be nice and flat. All right, with our little dragon here, we're just gonna drag it nice and smoothly across our material here, just taking out the wrinkles just very lightly. Don't want to leave it in one spot for very long. All right, baby.
Yeah, I like that tool. Yeah, I like it.
All right, I think we've tamed down this little dragon. Yeah, she's a little bit of a dragon now. We're gonna go back downstairs and start to cut out our material. Yeah, we're gonna cut it out. That's right. Okay. All right, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
We're back downstairs from training that little dragon up there to now having laid out our pattern on our upholstery. What we're gonna do, there's 2 ways you can actually do this. One, you can use these little weights that'll hold the pattern down on the upholstery, but I want to secure it in place just a little bit better. So I am actually pinning a couple of different spots just to make sure that this will stay in place. Okay, now we are going to use a fun little tool which my assistant has that I haven't used really all that much. Actually, I haven't used it probably at all, at least on something like this. What I usually do is I would draw a line around my pattern, and then I would use my scissors and cut out my new piece. But I have found that that makes little dragon teeth along the whole way, and it really doesn't look all that nice. So I'm going to be using what's this little rotary, I call it a pizza cutter, where that little blade comes out and you just roll it along and it'll cut out that fabric and make a nice, smooth little edge. We've cut out our piece with our little pattern. We'll go ahead and we'll unpin it. And let's take a look. And we have our nice, lovely piece of upholstery ready for the back of our shed. What we need to do now is cut the piece that's going to go around that we're going to box it with. And then we're going to have to do the back piece. You've seen me do that on our other cushions. So let me go ahead and cut out the pieces and then we'll be right back. Working on the bottom cushion, it is cut out just the same as the back of our cushion that we did before. I went ahead and I pinned it in different areas, and I'm just going to wheel right around the edge of our pattern with our pizza cutter here, and then we'll have our top piece for our shed. Looks like a nice cut. Now we'll go ahead and we'll take our pattern off of it and we'll cut up the boxing just like we did on the back of the shed. Well, here it is. I got to be honest, I'm sorry I forgot to record sewing up all the boxing and the piping or welting. I didn't record stuffing the mattresses or stuffing the back because you saw me do that with those cushions over there and right here. I think the mattress turned out very, very well. This turned out just very well, not very, very well. It was a little bit of a challenge trying to get this curve in here and this curve down and down over to here. But all in all, it turned out very well. The only thing you didn't see is on the bottom side of our mattress, you'll see it's white. It's more of a thicker canvas type of material instead of this tweeted top. I thought it would work better rubbing against the springs underneath the mattress. And the same with our piece here. I made the back in a different material because it really didn't need to be a surface like this. Now in our next video, Upholstery Part 3, we're going to finish doing the button tuffing for this mattress and our backing. I'm also going to show you how I made the little skirt up on the front. You can see this right below this mattress down there. And the fun part is in our shed, we show us having a rounded barrel type pillow support on that side. I'm going to show you how I made that. And well, we had to change the design just slightly, but it wouldn't be fur in the fan if we didn't have little changes, right? I think you'll find it interesting how we solved a little problem with our barrel pillow. So come on back for number 3.